Brilliant. So thank you for joining me this morning, Amy. And can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your involvement with the creative arts?
Yeah, I'm Amy Swalwell. I'm a dance educator and project manager. I wear a number of different hats. I'm luckily enough to have a portfolio career. So 1 minute I'm teaching dance, making work with young people, choreographing. Next minute delivering a festival or an event, managing a team, that type of stuff. So I'm making work happen. So I wear lots of different hats, which is exciting.
Yes, I think it was Robert Heinlein who said specialisation is for insects. And I kind of really hold to that. I think it's great, to keep your interests wide and varied.
Yeah.
So do you work on your own? Do you collaborate with people?
I work collaboratively, definitely. When I'm working with young people and making work on them, I definitely try and draw their individuality out of them and do creative tasks with them. So I definitely have a collaborative approach there when I'm teaching and working with young people. But then if I'm delivering a project as well, I like to bounce ideas off people. I think you get much more out of like the vision and the drive of a project if you have more people involved and you can kind of inspire each other through your ideas. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeps the energy levels up when you've got a number of people to mirror off. So when did you first get involved with the arts? Have you always been involved? Did you come from a creative family?
No, definitely not. My family's all in construction. From the steelworks. My dad worked over in Hartlepool in the steelworks, and basically the reason I got into dance was from an informal. I got into dance informally, basically dancing in my bedroom with the music of the 90s, quite popular music, and then taking the routines that I'd made up to my friends in the playground at school. And I was around 10 or 11 when I was doing a dance in my bedroom, and then I was luckily enough to go to a school that offered GCSE dance and A-level dance. So then I then did it formally from the age of 13 or 14, which is quite late for dance. Normally doing it from the age of 3, in ballet and stuff. So for me, it was the creative element that was my best bit, like making choreography, which it has no age limit to that. So yeah, it was started informally in my bedroom, but then I learned in school and studied dance. Yeah.
And were your family supportive of your artistic ambitions?
Ish. My dad always said have a backup plan. He thought it was a bit of a pipe dream, that I was just going through a phase, that I was just enjoying the arts. And he was quite close-minded. My whole family were actually on the careers in dance. I think a lot of people are, and how you can, there's not just the performance side. There's lots of different jobs in the arts. So he always said, get your A-levels and have your backup plan, and don't just go down one way, which was really good, because then I've got different skills that I've been able to utilise. So what I say is always good in the sector is be a thinking dancer. So you're not just performing and learning choreography, you're able to make things happen as well and think for yourself, really. So they were supportive, but also needed their minds broadening, and so did I, actually.
Great. Well, it's terrific. It all seems to have worked out for you. What kind of dance do you do?
Mixture. I love a mixture of contemporary and hip hop dance. So it's a very much of a hybrid style. I draw inspiration from hip hop theatre, but also quite contemporary companies as well. I love floor work that is quite energetic and is fluid and moves around the floor, but then also when you're like at upper level, that it has the hip hop styles as well. So I love companies like Boy Blue Entertainment, Far From the Norm, and those kind of companies I try and draw inspiration from, but also the young people I work with as well. They always bring fresh ideas to the work.
Great. So when you're working with younger people, is it normally in schools, or are there other like organisations you work with?
A mixture. So work in schools for after school clubs, and I worked as a dance teacher for a period of time, like employed by the school, working, delivering BTEC dance in the curriculum and dance as part of PE. But then I also worked for dance schools, and I set up my own youth company and work with young people that way. So it's just like an open call, and then they're about the age of 11 to 18, usually the young people that I work with.
Great. And in those situations, when you do your open call, how do you find the kids? How do you get them to participate?
Usually they've already been through dance, whether they've engaged with it from primary school, because much more dance at that kind of grassroots level, and then they've found dance outside of school, because unfortunately right now there isn't dance in schools in terms of the qualifications that I luckily had. So they're usually part of dance schools, and I've got a good network with the other dance schools that I kind of get those young people and give them more opportunities than just their exams that they do in the dance schools. They then come and then they can do performances and learn other elements of dance in terms of careers. And yeah, like we did a dance for camera, dance film last summer, and I used young people from the local dance school, Wilkinson Dance Academy. So that was like a specific project that I did with them.
Great. So other than the idea of kind of putting on a show at the end of it and that kind of sort of end result, what do you think the arts, your involvement does for you personally, and what kind of role do you think it plays in society?
For me, the creative arts is very important. I mean, luckily enough, I've been able to see through my work how it impacts people directly, and how it can make a difference in their life, not just that they've got that physical outlet, but there's that joy and excitement through the arts, and that they've got that inspiration that helps them in other areas of their life, not just to them be a dancer. They get to then know that they can achieve something, and then they go to school and they can do maths and English because they feel like they've got that confidence that they've been able to achieve in one area of their life, and then use the different skills. That's what I try and teach, that it isn't just about being a performer and getting to that stage, that they can then utilise those skills in other areas of their life. And I think in general, creativity and the arts is important to everyone, no matter who you are, what age you are, where you're from. The arts help make sense of the world, help you be curious, make you question things. It often gives people a way of expressing themselves through that creative freedom, especially in dance when it's non-verbal. You get to then communicate ideas and emotions that can be easier than doing it through voice, and it can the arts and creativity can help improve self-esteem and confidence and widen aspirations for anyone, and give people that healthier, happier life, and that enriches their lives, no matter what age you are and how you engage with the arts, whether that's you go into the theatre or whether that's just doing your own crafts in your kitchen, that it can bring that happiness and that joy and enrich your lives on different scales.
Terrific, absolutely, brilliant answer. So I suppose I'm going to have to ask you about lockdown and the impact that it's had on your practice, and where, what kind of pathway out of this you might have in your head.
Yeah, I think the main impact that lockdown has had is the future, really, because it's all unknown, so it's really hard to do those future plans, especially with my other hats of being a project manager and event manager. I've had been wanting to run loads of things this year into next year, like a leadership program and networking events for dance artists, but it's all been put on hold because of that lack of face-to-face. Luckily at the beginning of lockdown I was on maternity leave, so it didn't affect me as much at the beginning, and then I had some workshops that were in August and they got cancelled. I've got some dance workshops happening in December, and that's all up in the air. It might happen, hopefully, if we don't stay in this second lockdown. But most things have been put on hold, but I'm using this time to really think of doing things differently, and whether that's online, workshops online, seminars or podcasts, or making film, dance film, and showing that somewhere online. So lockdown's affected a lot, but it's just thinking differently. I think the creative arts are really good at being able to be adaptable, I guess, and see the positives and just change the way we're working. I mean, we're a sector that will survive because we can work creatively and think differently and make things happen anyways.